Hey everyone, ready to dive into some wealth building strategies?
Always.
Awesome. So, we're checking out this podcast episode called How to Become Rich in 2025, Your Roadmap to Financial Freedom.
Catchy title.
Right. And get this, it's got two hosts, one from the US and one from the UK.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we get kind of a global perspective. They break down their advice into these 5 steps, and we're going to unpack it all for you guys so you can start building your own path to, financial freedom.
I like it. It's interesting. The first thing they talk about is mindset.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they say it's all about having this rich mindset, basically believing you can actually become wealthy.
Okay, so it's like the foundation before you even, start building the house.
Exactly. It's like setting the stage for success.
Okay, I get the analogy, but how do you actually cultivate a rich mindset? I mean, it's not just like flipping a switch, right?
Right. It's more about shifting your perspective. They talk about challenging those limiting beliefs we often have about money.
Those thoughts like I'll never be rich or investing is too risky.
Exactly. They say to focus on possibilities and opportunities instead.
So it's about reframing your thoughts about money and opportunity.
Exactly. It's about asking yourself, how can I make this happen? Instead of, why can't I do this? It's a subtle shift, but it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you ever catch yourself falling into those negative thought patterns?
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in the I can't afford that mentality. But, they're saying it's crucial to break free from that.
For sure. And once you have that solid foundation, then what?
Then you can start building your wealth blueprint. And their first strategy is diversifying income streams.
Makes sense, especially with all the economic uncertainty these days. So, what does diversifying income streams actually look like in practice?
Well, it's about having multiple sources of income, not just relying on a single paycheck.
Okay, so side hustles, investments, maybe even starting a small business.
Exactly. The key is to have money coming in from different directions.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And speaking of investments, they specifically mentioned some platforms like Nutmeg and Hargreaves Lansdown in the UK.
And in the US, they mention Robinhood and Acorns. Are those good options for beginners?
Absolutely. They're great for beginners because they simplify investing. You can even start with small amounts of money.
Okay, so starting small and staying consistent. I like that. But they make investing sound so easy. Is it really that simple?
Well, they do kind of gloss over some of the complexities, but for beginners, they suggest looking into index funds and
What are
ETFs.
those?
They're basically baskets of stocks that allow you to diversify your investments.
So instead of betting on a single company, you're spreading your risk.
Precisely. But remember, all investments carry some risk, so always do your research and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
That's good advice. So we've got diversifying income streams and smart investing. What's next?
Next, they talk about personal branding.
Personal branding. I'm not trying to be an influencer or anything. How would that apply to, someone like me?
Well, they're not just talking about being an influencer. It's about showcasing your skills and expertise to a wider audience.
Okay, so if you're good at graphic design or coding or even baking, you can build a brand around that
Exactly. It's about creating an online presence that reflects your strengths.
and attracting clients or customers who are looking for what you offer.
Right. And it's not just about clients. It can open doors to partnerships and even your own product lines.
So they're saying take your passion, share it with the world, and watch the opportunities unfold.
Pretty much. And that actually leads perfectly into their next strategy, which is leveraging technology.
Okay, let's talk tech. What are their thoughts on things like AI, automation, and blockchain?
They believe those are game changers, not just trends.
So it's about using these advancements to our advantage.
Yes, explore ways to automate your business or invest in cryptocurrency. They're saying get on board now before it's too late.
Gotcha. Speaking of automation, you know what? I actually have a story about that.
Oh, tell me.
A story. I'm all ears.
Okay, so a few years back, I was really hesitant to embrace automation.
Yeah,
I thought it was, too complicated.
too expensive.
Yeah, exactly, not for someone like me. But then I found these simple tools.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that helped me, automate these repetitive tasks in my business. Honestly, it was amazing.
Wow, that's
It
awesome.
freed up so much of my time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so then I could focus on, the more creative and strategic stuff.
Working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And, that extra time, well, you could use it to pursue, new income streams.
Or invest in yourself.
Right. Or just enjoy life more.
I love that. Which actually brings us to their final strategy, living believe your means.
The classic advice.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good to get a refresher, right? Did they say anything new or surprising about it?
Well, they did say it's not the, most glamorous topic,
That's true.
but they presented it as empowering, not restrictive. They even challenged the idea that you always have to live below your means.
Oh.
Yeah, they said that sometimes spending more strategically can actually help you build wealth faster.
So investing in yourself or your business.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance. between enjoying life today and, like, planning for the future.
Making smart choices with your money.
Yeah. They talked about creating a financial cushion so you can pursue those, like, bigger goals.
Starting a business, traveling the world, retiring early, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But let's be real, living below your means can be tough.
It is. There's always that temptation to, buy the latest gadget or go on that fancy vacation.
Oh, for sure. And they talked about that too. They said to watch out for lifestyle inflation.
Lifestyle inflation.
Yeah, it's when your spending goes up as your income goes up,
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
right? Suddenly those little luxuries become necessities, and you're just stuck on this, like, hedonic treadmill.
Ugh, yeah, I've totally been there. You get a raise and you feel like you can afford to upgrade your lifestyle, but then you're like right back where you started, just with fancier stuff.
Exactly.
So how do you avoid that?
Well, they had some good tips. They said to set a budget, track your expenses, and automate your savings,
Okay, those are practical.
right?
I think the automation part is super helpful because then you're less likely to, spend that money impulsively.
Totally agree. You just set it and forget it.
So much easier. Okay, so we've talked about the mindset shift and the 5 strategies, but did they give us any real-world examples, to show how all of this actually works?
They did. Remember Emma, the nurse who started that side hustle, selling candles on Etsy?
Oh yeah, the one from Manchester. Didn't she turn that into a 6-figure business?
She did. And get this, she did it all while still working as a nurse.
No way, that's amazing.
I know. She started small, selling at local markets and online, and then she used social media to build her brand. Now she's making, passive income.
Wow, that's incredible. It shows you don't have to quit your job to pursue your dreams.
Right. You can just sit small and be consistent.
Love it. Did they share any other inspiring stories?
Oh, yeah. They talked about Jake, the teacher from Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who invested in Tesla back in 2019.
Wasn't that like a risky move back then?
It was. But he, like, believed in the company's long-term potential, and now he's made a ton of money.
Wow, what a great example of how smart investing can pay off. But what I really like about both Emma and Jake's stories is that they're, just ordinary people
They are.
who took initiative and achieved extraordinary results.
It's inspiring, right?
It is. They didn't have any special advantages. They just applied these strategies and worked hard.
And that's the message they were trying to get across. Financial freedom is possible for anyone.
Love that. It's not about luck or privilege. It's about taking action.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they've given us the blueprint, the tools, the aspiration, but they didn't really talk about the challenges people might face, right?
That's a great point. They did kind of present a rosy picture.
It's not always easy.
Yeah.
There are going to be setbacks and, moments of doubt.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's not just about following the steps.
It's about being resilient.
Yeah, and being able to adapt to changing circumstances.
Exactly. And that's where continuous learning comes in. They talked about, always expanding your knowledge and skills.
Staying informed, seeking guidance when you need it.
Right. It's a journey, not a destination.
Ooh, I like that. So it's not a one and done thing. It's a continuous process of learning and refining your approach.
Yes. And they also emphasized the importance of having a supportive community.
Oh, like online forums or mastermind groups.
Yeah. Or even just having friends or mentors who can give you advice.
That's so important. You don't have to do it alone.
Exactly. And remember, financial freedom isn't just about money. It's about having the resources and flexibility to live life on your own terms.
It's about creating a life of choice.
And purpose.
And abundance. Yeah, it really sounds like achieving financial freedom. It's about, way more than just the numbers in your bank account.
It is. It is.
It's about designing a life that, aligns with your values.
And aspirations.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think there's one thing we haven't really touched on yet, something the podcast hosts didn't really address.
Oh, what's that?
They focused a lot on the positives of wealth building, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't really talk about the, potential downsides.
The challenges.
Exactly. The psychological or emotional challenges that people might face along the way.
You're right. They didn't really get into that.
Yeah, you might adopt that rich mindset they talked about.
Right.
But there are still mindset traps you might encounter.
Oh, absolutely.
What kind of challenges are you thinking of?
Well, comparison is a big one. It's so easy to compare yourself to others.
Especially with social media.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You see everyone's highlight reel.
Right.
And you start feeling, inadequate or discouraged.
Totally. You're falling behind even if you're making progress.
Exactly. And then there's, the fear of failure.
Oh, yeah, that can be paralyzing.
Right. What if you make a mistake or lose money?
It can definitely hold you back from taking risks.
For sure.
But it's important to remember that, setbacks are normal. Everyone experiences them, even the most successful people.
They did kind of skip over that part, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. It's they were presenting this, perfect, easy path to wealth.
Right.
But it's not always like that.
It's not.
There are going to be ups and downs,
For sure.
but that doesn't mean you should give up.
Definitely not. Remember Emma and Jake's stories? They show that it's possible.
They do.
But it's important to, be realistic. It's not always going to be easy.
Yeah, good point. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave our listeners with a question.
Okay.
Considering all the challenges we've talked about, what strategies can you use to stay motivated, even when things get tough?
That's a great question to think about.
Yeah, how do you stay resilient and focused on those financial goals?
Maybe it's having a good support system.
Or practicing gratitude?
Right. Or just reminding yourself, why you started this journey in the first place.
Exactly. It's about finding what works for you.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately, financial freedom, it's not just about the destination.
It's about the journey.
Yes, it's about, enjoying the process of learning and growing.
And creating a life of abundance on your own terms.
I love that. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving towards those dreams.